second virtue that religion suggests that helps make people better people is gratitude. Gratitude is a felt sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. Again, the major religions emphasize the importance of thankfulness in living a life of gratitude. Psychological research has supported the usefulness of this virtue by showing, in a recent study, that students who kept a weekly log of things they were grateful for felt better about their lives as a whole. And as a side note, as I was researching this point on gratitude, I came across an iPhone app, actually, called the Gratitude Journal, based on this research in positive psychology. And I guess 3 times a day it alerts you, and you enter in something you're thankful for, and it's been shown again to improve people's outlook on life. Alright, so those who, research by Marty Seligman follows this up and says those who regularly attend religious services and engage in religious activities, such as prayer and reading religious material, are more likely to be grateful. The third virtue is compassion. Compassion orients the self towards the other. It includes kindness, generosity, both in terms of money and time, nurturance, care, and altruistic love. A study on 4 different types of religious groups, including Jewish, Protestant, Catholic, and Orthodox, in several different countries found that those who were highly religious tended also to be less hedonistic and self-oriented. The authors of that study concluded that religions encourage people to seek meaning beyond their everyday existence, and they exhort people to pursue causes greater than their own personal desires. The opposed orientation, the one we might be more familiar with, is self-indulgent materialism. It seeks happiness in the pursuit and the consumption of material goods. So religion makes people better because it encourages forgiveness, gratitude, and compassion. I've suggested that the power of religion has transformed this world into a better place, and that the average person's life, in their private life and in general for society, it does so by its impact on education, health, happiness, and interpersonal relationships. Before I finish up and open up for questions, I want to conclude with one last finding in psychology that I think is important in order for us to understand how we make decisions and what we base our knowledge and understanding on. So, skepticism. You may ask me, Dr. V, how can I believe when I have doubts? Well, welcome to the club. I have doubts you wouldn't believe. Ask my colleagues. I'm skeptical about many things others swear by, such as ESP, precognition, acupuncture, the benefits of electric cars, Freudian theory, homeopathy, ghosts, Bigfoot, naturopathy, telepathy, the Loch Ness Monster, faith healers, therapeutic touch, the supposed link between autism and vaccines, apparitions of various religious figures, chiropractic theory, psychokinesis, UFOs, the negative effects of secondhand smoke, conspiracy theories, and the efficacy of Buckley's. But if I was to abandon my faith in God on account of my doubt, I am certain of only one thing, and this is probably the only thing I'm certain of, that I would soon begin to doubt my disbelief. C.S. Lewis puts it this way: believe in God and you'll have to face hours when it seems obvious that this material world is the only reality. Disbelieve in Him and you must face hours when this material world seems to shout at you that it is not all. No conviction, religious or irreligious, will of itself end once and for all of these doubts in the soul. If you are like me, you know that doubt is your lot in life, and so I choose to embrace it. So how then do we make decisions if we are plagued by doubt? For many years, we seem to think that cold, emotionless logic was the best foundation for which one was to make decisions. Star Trek gives us a race of aliens that worked hard to separate themselves from their base emotions, and they largely became leaders in the galaxy because of their devotion to unemotional logic. They are the Vulcans. We get a sense of this in a scene from Star Trek where only one type of question confuses Spock.
Computer, resume testing. Who said logic is the cement of our civilization with which we ascend from chaos using reason as our guide?
T plan a half, matron of Bogan's philosophy.
Correct. What is the molecular formula of aluminum sulfide crystals? What significant contribution to bioengineering is made in Lucarian outputs on Clint?
The universal atmospheric element compensator.
Correct. Is being pursued co-closely that it occupies the same space as its pursuer? Correct. Identify object and its cultural significance.
Klingon mummification blip.
What were the principal historical events on the planet Earth in the year 1987? Correct. What was Kira Jung Thaw's first law of metaphysics?
Nothing unreal exists.
Correct. Adjust the sun and wave of this magnetic envelope so that antineutrons can pass through it and antigravitons cannot. Correct. What is the electronic configuration of galenium? Correct. How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I do not understand the question.
Right. So this cold, emotionless logic serves him very well in some domains of life, but as soon as he is asked about his emotions, he is stumped. Now, what I wanted to tell you about in terms of recent research in psychology is that Antonio Damasio has done some research showing that our good decisions that we make may in fact be closer linked to our emotions than we previously thought. Damasio studies brain injury patients who have certain damage in the frontal cortex of the brain. It is in this part of the brain that links emotion to our emotional response to an outside world. I was going to show you a video on this as well, however, I want to get to questions, so I'll just tell you about what they find. Alright, so he shows that individuals, one of his brain research patients goes by the name of Joe, and Joe has no emotional response to anything in his world, whether he's told that you're late for work versus there's a show on TV to your daughter's in the hospital. He is emotionally neutral because of the damage in his prefrontal cortex. They go on to show that he makes very poor rational decisions. In various parts of life, he doesn't have that gut level response that is necessary to say you are going down a dangerous path, or this is a good decision that you just made. That emotional connection to the judgment has been severed because of that brain damage. And so Damasio tells us that people make the best decisions not when they separate emotion, but when they allow their emotion to influence their decisions. And so the term gut feeling, this is from Damasio, suggests that we have been aware of this effect for some time. Some of our choices are very closely connected to our emotions. Some of our rational decisions follow our emotions. And so gut feeling suggests that our emotions may be more important part of our rational decision making, and the cold emotionless logic of Spock may in fact be deficient. So, in the midst of my skepticism and doubt about all things religious, what causes me to tip towards belief rather than disbelief? I follow my gut. Right? I listen to my emotions. I allow my emotional feelings to suggest belief rather than unbelief. And I agree with Martin Gardner, this is my last quote, that I have no basis whatever for my belief in God other than a passionate longing that God exists and that I and others will not cease to exist. Because I believe with my heart that God upholds all things, it follows that I believe my leap of faith in a way beyond my comprehension is God outside me asking and wanting me to believe, and God within me responding. Thank you very much. So we do have 5 minutes if there are any questions or comments.